During the third convocation ceremony of National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, the Director General of Nilds, Professor Abakar Suleiman, said that 65 graduating students of the Nilds Uniben postgraduate programs have been conferred with various master's degrees, comprising 28 graduates in legislative studies, 15 in legislative drafting, and 22 in parliamentary administration. Present at the ceremony was the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, former Senate President, Senator Ken Inamani, Clerk to the National Assembly, Alhaji Ataba Sani Omolori, Deputy Speaker to the House of Representatives, Honorable Idris Ahmed Wase, Professor Atara Ujega, amongst others.
Let me place on record that the 65 graduates of this institute are unique, dedicated, and hardworking as they have continued to build the trail and can be placed alongside graduates of similar institutes anywhere in the world. I appreciate the overwhelming support of the entire distinguished members of the National Assembly, led by the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawal, and all members of the House of Reps, led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Femi Demila. The University of Benin is proud to be associated with this institute. There is a commitment to the passage of the entire culture of existence, which has been prevalent at Nice, and which the University of Benin is known for. And it is one of the most sought after university in sub-Saharan Africa. It is in line with the onward push of this culture of excellence that only a few days back, a new Vice Chancellor was appointed to take over the helm of affairs at the University of Benin on the 2nd of December 2019, at the expiration of my tenure as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin. The new elected VC is Professor Mrs. Lillian Imotinya Salama. I say congrats to graduates as well as their families. I also appreciate the good work, dedication, commitment, and foresight of the director of the DG of NIS, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, and the entire team of this institute. May the Lord reward you. I urge graduates today to be diligent and work hard to prove the quality of knowledge that has been inculcated in you in the discharge of your roles to the society and humanity in general. I appreciate and commend President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFRO, for his unflinching support towards education. I believe that this part that Uniben and Nilds are trading will continuously lead to success and greater heights. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Idris Wase, the Convocation lecturer, principal officers of the National Assembly are present, Other Vice Chancellor here present, Vice University of Benin, and the principal officers. Let me stand on the existing protocol. It gives me enormous pleasure and satisfaction to graciously welcome you all to the National Assembly and the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Nilds. You are equally welcome to the third Uniben Nilds Convocation ceremony, the second to be held here at the National Assembly. I would like to actually congratulate all the graduates for their hard work and the lecturers for their unflinching commitment in nurturing the graduates successfully and timely complete their studies. The Institute commenced its postgraduate programs in affiliation with the University of Benin in the year 2013-2014 academic session. The programs are master's degree in legislative drafting, parliamentary administration, legislative study. In the 5 first years of academic session, that is 2013-2014, 2018-2019, a total of 271 students enrolled for the various programs. In 2018-2019 alone, 77 students enrolled in the various programs, both from the National Assembly and State House of Assembly, as well as the general public, especially those who are preparing themselves for career in the legislative service. The greatest percentage of the enrollees were from the National Assembly. This included legislators, legislative staff serving in various capacities, including committee clerks and staff, research officers, chamber staff and drafters, as well as legislative aides. The programs have been very well received, as expressly seen in the rising number of parliamentary staff admitted into the various programs. The population of students not from the National Assembly has also been increasing progressively. This suggests the widespread acceptability of the postgraduate programs by the public. It also suggests that sustainability of the program is promising. Distinguished leaders of the National Assembly, ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you of some of the secrets behind our success story. First, we are blessed with a critical mass of experts in relevant fields that any world-class institute like ours can parade. Second, we do not go on strike. We operate very stable academic calendar. This enables both our students and teachers to plan their academic activities with precision and environment well conducive. Fourth, the time of our lecture is between 3 p.m. 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. The advantage inherent in this especially designed timing is that our students can keep their jobs while learning simultaneously. The first set of graduating students in Masters in Legislative Studies and Legislative Drafting convoked with other graduating students of the University of Benin at its Ugowo campus, Benin City, in November 2016. The second and third set of graduates had their convocation ceremony together here in Abuja in October 2018, following approval by the University of Benin that henceforth our convocation ceremony be held here at the National Assembly. At the ceremony of a total of 79 students from the 2015-2016 and 2016-2017 classes graduated and were convoked accordingly. Since then, and in light of the towering success of the postgraduate programs, the National University Commission NUC has given approval for the Institute to commence new programs: postgraduate diploma in election and political party management, master's degree in election and party politics, and constitutional law and constitutional development. The first two new programs have commenced early this year during the ongoing 2018-2019 academic session. The master's degree in constitutional law and constitutional development will commence soonest when the institute moves to its ultra-modern permanent site next year, inshallah. As I speak, the institute has commenced the process of admitting new students for the year 2019-2020, which will start early 2020. I'm sure some of you might have received some of our advertisement flyers. The update I received from the postgraduate unit is that the response to the advertisements has been very, very impressive. The institute also secured approval from the National Board for Technical Education, NBT, to commence the HND program in parliamentary administration and official reporting. These are diploma programs are intended to address the needs of the lower and middle staff of the National Assembly to enhance international best practices in the discharge of their duties. At this year's third convocation ceremony holding today, a total of 65 students will be conferred with various degrees, broken down to 28 masters in legislative studies, 15 masters in legislative drafting, and 22 masters in parliamentary administration. I sincerely hope that this trend in the postgraduate programs will continue. Prizes will also be awarded to students who have distinguished themselves among their peers. I would like to thank all the people who are endowed with various prizes. Similarly, I'd like to call on other well-meaning people, well-meaning Nigerians in particular, to come forward and endow more prizes in our various programs. The Institute is planning to utilize the endowment of prizes under the postgraduate and its other academic programs. For these various achievements, I wish to acknowledge and commend our partner, the University of Benin, Uniben, for sustaining this partnership, which has grown stronger over the years and is steadily contributing in boosting the intellectual and technical capacity of the legislature in Nigeria and beyond. It is even more gladdening and pleasing to know that the relationship is not only being sustained, but also significantly reinforced with the addition of more programs and certifications. The current Memorandum of Understanding MOU between our institutes and the University of Benin to run the postgraduate programs was designed to last for 5 academic sessions and is expiring this year by December. The two participating institutions have commenced the process of renewing the MOU. We look forward to expanding our partnership with other reputable institutions in Nigeria and beyond as means of advancing technical capacity of the National Assembly, State Assembly, and even local government assemblies. The institutes and other democratic actors alike. The revised MOU will address some of the new issues of interest to our institute. Barely 5 months ago, I accepted the challenge of leading the institute as its second Director General, and on this occasion, I wish to state unequivocally my commitment to building on the gains of the previous year and expanding the frontiers of both research and training at the institute. Coming from the university myself, I intend to bring my many years of experience and passion for the academia to bear on consolidating the postgraduate and other academic programs of our institute. Through the reforms and activities we are undertaking, with the support of the leadership of the National Assembly, I'm optimistic that the institute will retain its undisputed leading position as the center of excellence. I will conclude my speech by emphasizing that our effort to build in this institute has received enormous goodwill and support from various quarters. I would particularly like to thank the leadership of the National Assembly, under the directions of the President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawal, PhD, and Right Honorable Speaker of the House, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and indeed other principal officers for their overall continued unallied support to the Institute. Similarly, I thank the head of the National Assembly bureaucracy, the clerk to the National Assembly, Mohammed Atabasani Omolori, for being very supportive of all our efforts and for always being at hand to provide guidance. Finally, I extend my sincere appreciation to the management and staff of the Institute for their tenacity and hard work, as well as for their consistently supporting me since I assumed the responsibility of Director General. I will also thank our graduates for observing the rules and regulations governing their conduct, and also for maintaining a very high level of discipline throughout their study at the Institute. In the same place, I request you to join our alumni association and support us in building this great institute. Your suggestions toward better service delivery will be highly appreciated. To the staff of National Assembly present here today, our consultants, one of whom is the former INEC chairman, they are present, members of the academic community, and other areas of distinguished personality. I wish to appreciate you all for coming and pray that our collective aspiration for stronger democratic institutions in Nigeria shall be accomplished in due course. With those few remarks, and I welcome the President of the Senate, once again, the Speaker, House of Representatives, and other distinguished personalities here present. While we thank you all for your support,
and pay them the necessary respect. And if you fail to do that, you create some unintended consequences. I thank the MC for establishing a very coherent, cohesive protocol list. However, I would like to start by recognizing the presence of the President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Also, he is simultaneously the Chairman of National Assembly. His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan. The Speaker of the House of Rep, who is unavoidably absent, is represented by his Deputy, Right Honorable Idris Wase. Distinguished senators here present, quite a number of them, especially my old colleagues, some doing of Nigerian legislative practices, somebody like Senator Zungina, so John Damboyi, Senator Abubakar McAfee, who incidentally was our chairman of appropriation, and he made sure the appropriation bill was passed before we went on Christmas holidays in two occasions, 2005 and 2006. We thank you for finding time to be here. And our encyclopedia of legislative work, Zungina. I've taken time to congratulate them because work that is done in national assemblies is usually based on consensus if you must achieve anything meaningful. I would like also to recognize the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Adamu Rashid, and my good friend, Professor Jega, and Professor Yakub Nuhu. So, the Director General of National Institute of Legislative Studies, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, I thank him especially for inviting me to this occasion. Some of us who have left here will hardly find time to
return here because we don't want to interfere. We'd like to allow the people at the helm of affairs to carry out their responsibilities. The graduating students for whom I think were here, I congratulate you and your people, family members who have come to see you to receive the result of your hard work. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, as I already said, forgive me if I haven't accorded you the necessary recognition. People like Senator Philip Adu, the Minority Whip, Honorable Ado Dogwa, who worked with me here in National Assembly, and now House Majority Leader. I'm very happy about that because if you see somebody whom you work with for a very long time and is well in ascendancy, you recognize him very well. I thank you, Dogo, for representing us. Now, the difficulty I was trying to avoid, I'm still getting myself. Now that I have recognized Dogo, there's no reason why I will not recognize Lumelu. Because he comes from a different political party. If I don't recognize him, I'm sure he'll be eyeing me. So, please, as I already indicated, the MC is quite able and has done a very pleasant work. Permit me, if I have not mentioned your name or your position, it doesn't remove you from occupying that position. So I believe that all of us here gathered here this afternoon is because we have some commitment to the improvement of legislation as an instrument of policy and regulatory direction of democratic governance. Whether we are policymakers, legislators, faculty members, graduates, or students of this important institution, Nilds, we all have professed commitment to the legislature as a critical branch of government. As stakeholders, we should be happy with the progress that the Institute, Nilds, has made in its stride towards becoming a center of excellence in Africa on legislative scholarship. This journey has been helped tremendously by the partnership with a reputable Nigerian university like the University of Benin. I congratulate the Director General and the entire management of Nilds for achieving so much at such a short period. To the students who are graduating, we say well done. You have achieved the goal you set for yourselves. You and your family deserve to be happy today because you can look back with fulfillment to the efforts and sacrifices you made to acquire postgraduate education in parliamentary practices and other disciplines. As they say, there is joy in competing, but there is even greater joy in winning. And you are all winners. Congratulations from us. The legislature as a branch of government, it may seem trivial to note that the legislature is a branch of government. It sounds very trivial, but I will explain to you why it is not trivial. But it bears repeating in the context of the global travails of legislature. We have seen that currently the legislature is struggling in many countries of the world to assert itself. Nigeria is no exception. For instance, in the United States, you have been following what is going on there. The Congress and the President are tangled in a fierce political battle on who has power to do what. White House staffers are trying to shrug off invitations from the Congress to testify about alleged infractions by the president. No matter how this dispute ends, it reinforces the fact that even in advanced democracies, the legislature often suffers challenge to its powers, and therefore it is important to always restate the important place of legislature in democratic governance. Historically, the place of the legislature in government is that of equality. It is important to emphasize that equality in this context does not necessarily mean that the legislature performs exactly the same function as the executive branch. In fact, the contrary is the case. The design of democratic governance from the days of French political philosopher Baron de Montesquieu, who wrote in 1748 in the spirit of law that the only enduring basis of securing freedom is for governmental power not to be concentrated in the hand of one person or one body of persons. In chapter 6 of that great book, he argues that in every government there are three sources of power: the legislative, the executive, in respect of things dependent on the laws of nations, and the executive in regards to things that depend on the civil laws. By virtue of the first, or magistrate enacts temporary or perpetual laws and amends or abrogates them, those that have already been enacted. By the second, he makes wars, sends or receives embassies, establishes the public security, and provides against invasions. By the third, he punishes crimes or determines disputes that arise between individuals. The latter we shall call the judiciary power, and the other simply as the executive power of the state, unquote. The statement says the concept of constitution of governance and the principle of separation. He argues that when the legislative and the executive powers are united in the same person or in the same body of magistracy, there can be then no liberty, because apprehension may arise lest the same monarch or senate should enact tyrannical laws, execute them in tyrannical manners, unquote. This is as clear as possible. John Locke gave his concept of separated government authoritative express in his second treatise of government, when he canvassed for the social contract based on recognition of the right of the people to self-determination as basis of legitimate governance. In chapter 11 of that book, John Locke argues that the great end of men entering into society being the enjoyment of their properties in peace and safety, and the great instrument and means of that being the law established in the society. The first and fundamental positive law of all commonwealths is the establishment of legislative power as the first and fundamental natural law, which is to govern even the legislative itself. This is the preservation of the society, of every person in it. This statement makes it clear that the legislative branch of government is the primary branch, because we must establish the laws that will govern the republics as the most urgent business when we establish a social contract. The Nigerian Constitution follows in this line of thought by establishing the legislature before it establishes the executive and judiciary. Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution states as follows: Republic of Nigeria shall be vested, the legislative power of the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be vested in the National Assembly for the Federation, which shall consist of the Senate and a House of Representatives. Hence, we are practicing bicameral legislature. Section 5 deals with the executive branch, while Section 6 dwells on the judiciary. Hence, you can see that even our Constitution follows that pattern. And that is why some people say that in order of primacy, legislature is number one. You establish the legislative arm first. You establish that first before the others follow. So, in order of primacy, legislature is number one. Good governance and legislative authority. Today, good governance is a popular cliché. It occupies the same level of usage like stakeholders. Every person says stakeholders. Every politician promises good governance. Every government justifies its existence by constant reference to good governance. It is automatic to say that the government exists to provide good governance. But what is really good governance? It's like when some people claim that evidence of democracy is building of roads, hospitals, nice schools, and the rest of it, infrastructural investments. Some scholars have argued, and there are quite a few of them here, have argued that building of roads, hospitals, and the rest of it, having constant power supply, is not necessarily the dividends of democracy, because there are non-democratic societies that build better roads. In fact, even if we don't talk about, say, like Libya, under Gaddafi, we can come home here. Some of the best roads built in Nigeria were done under military. Can we reasonably say that military was a democratic setup? No. The answer is no. So those structures, infrastructural development, is a taste of performance, not necessarily a dividend of democracy. Dividends of democracy constitute those intangible things you don't see about. Professor Jigai is here. He was in charge of our electoral system. He did an excellent job. It's a thing that is not tangible, but you have freedom to vote and to be voted for, to select your leader. Those are the things that constitute dividends of democracy. So, if we talk about good governance, we need to know what constitutes good governance. I will delve into that shortly. The United Nations Development Project, UNDP, has helped us to develop a strong analytical framework to understand what good governance implies. In a discussion paper number 2, conceptualizing governance, it defined good governance as the exercise of political, economic, and administrative authority to manage a nation's affairs. It is a complex mechanism, processes, relationships through which citizens and groups articulate their interests, exercise their rights and obligations, and mediate their differences. In 1997 report, Governance for Sustainable Human Development, UNDP lists other characteristics or principles of good governance as follows. 1, participation. I will define them as I go on. Rule of law, transparency, orientation, equity, and inclusiveness, efficiency, and of course effectiveness, accountability, and strategic vision. This appears a long list, there are 8 of them or so. But the list provides a robust relationship between good governance and legislature, and I will show how. The legislature, executive, and the judiciary are critical structures of governance. Agreed. The way these institutions function will determine, to a large extent, whether good governance is realized or not. When we examine the different characteristics of good governance, we will appreciate the critical role of legislation in good governance. I will start with participation. When we talk about good governance, we are most likely to have at the back of our minds that such governance encourages and permits participation of citizens. Public hearing has become a conventional aspect of lawmaking. Legislators that are here, we normally invite people for public hearing. There's no section in our Constitution that specifies we must invite the public to come and participate in the act of lawmaking.
That's my area. Yes.
But we have adopted that as a convention, and it's helping us to articulate, or to get the participation, to the buy-in of the general public in the particular bill that is being discussed. Legislators incorporate public hearing in the lawmaking process to open policy making to the meaningful participation of citizens. Good government, or good governance, please, encourages participation. The example is what I just mentioned. When you are being invited to come and contribute your ideas to an aspect of lawmaking, is because the legislators are interested in carrying every person along, particularly professionals and those who will be affected by the particular law being discussed. Rule of law. Rule of law is the pillar of a democratic society anywhere. What does it mean for a government to uphold the rule of law? It is not just simply to obey court orders. It's more than that. I think it means, first, that the government recognizes the authority of the law to regulate and define what it does or fails to do. A rule of law government will respect the fundamental rights of the people in the Constitution. The government will conduct all economic, social, and political transactions openly and in line with the requirements of the law. A rule of law government will not permit corruption, because corruption is a deviation from the law. Dennis A. Rondinelli defines rule of law as, and I quote, providing a reliable set of legal institutions to guide participants in economic transactions on the guidelines to operate efficiently and effectively. In his view, without transparent legal institutions, owners and managers of enterprises waste time and money negotiating each transaction with government officials, a process that opens the way for bribery and corruption. Public administration and democratic governance, governments serving citizens. This was in 2007. The primary function of the legislature is lawmaking, and good laws enhance good governance. We can say clearly that any government where there is no independence of the judiciary and where the Constitution is not supreme and public officials act against the law, such government can hardly qualify as practicing good governance. Then we'll talk about transparency. The third characteristics of good governance is that of transparency. Again, according to UNDP, transparency is built on free flow of information. It involves what is generally referred to as sunshine laws. Transparency also involves the existence of institutions, processes, and procedures, which shines light on public transactions, especially those that relate to management of public revenue. The reason why transparency is critical to good governance is because the best antidote to corruption and inefficiency is openness. While we were in National Assembly, during that epic time we talked about that time, during that debate, we introduced a scenario where we invited all media houses to please come and cover the processes and procedures in the National Assembly, in the Senate in particular. Why we did that was to confer legitimacy to what we were trying to accomplish. We are not trying to amend our community's constitution. We are trying to amend the Nigerian constitution. And the essence of having gallery is openness, for people to see exactly what we are trying to accomplish. And it went so well that people at home were able to watch what we were doing. And I think that helped us to accomplish the debate successfully. And before we started it, for your information, and the guy who introduced that very motion, who moved that motion, is here, Senator Uniben. Both of us agreed that he should come up with a motion requiring all senators who want to contribute to that debate to please stand up, be on your feet, so that your people at home, your constituents will see you. And that was the point at which I said that every person, man and woman, you answer your parents' name, stand up, there, so people see you, you make your points. And nobody will say that an Igbo man is presiding, you are taking money. So it was so transparent. We made sure he moved that motion and it passed. Before we started that epic debate, senators were talking, making their contributions, we call it debate, from their seats. But this time around, we changed it, say stand up, so people can see you and hear you, and we call the press to cover. So openness, transparency, I'm glad that that culture has continued in the National Assembly. Again, there's what we call legislative oversight. It's an opportunity for those elected by the people to make laws on their behalf, to find out what the executives are doing, and bring such to the public notice. We talk about appropriation. After getting because the president sends in his estimates, the National Assembly will now deliberate and come up and pass an appropriation bill as because they are nearer to the people. Now, it's for the duty of the legislators to ensure good governance, to follow through on the appropriation bill and make sure that the executive that executes that carries out what the appropriation bill says. Because once appropriation bill is signed, it becomes law. It becomes the responsibility of the legislators, therefore, to follow through and make sure that it's going according to the budget. That's the oversight. And the legislators have a unique position because legislature itself is immune from the solution. It is rare when the president will now say, I dissolve National Assembly. It's not covered in our constitution. So it is rare, and that is a special privilege of legislators. And they use that for the good governance of the country. So legislative oversight is an opportunity, as I said, for those elected by the people to make laws on their behalf, to find out what the executives are doing and bring such to public notice. It is for this purpose that many countries, including Nigeria, have what we call freedom of information law. Freedom of information. It is part of the reason why National Assembly insisted on passing that bill. In our own time it was passed, but it was not signed. But I'm glad it's finally was signed and got soon appointed time. Then I talked about responsiveness as one of the principles of good governance. Responsiveness relates to how government relates to the institutional and agencies of governance. Serve all stakeholders by responding to their needs. A responsive government or governance will quickly and firmly react to the needs of the people in times of emergencies involving constituents. Very often, legislators come up with motions of national urgent importance. Always. It is to respond to emergencies in their constituencies. Responsiveness is also related to equity. Fundamental to how good governments serve the people is that they ensure equity to all stakeholders. Equity means non-discrimination in access to social services and other entitlements. Perhaps that informed the concept of federal character. We want to make sure that all sections participate meaningfully. Under the concept of constituency projects also, legislators attempt to ensure, mark the words, attempt to ensure that their constituents have access to social services as well as other amenities. By so doing, the legislators promote excellent governance. Responsiveness also means that those who exercise political power will be willing and ready to offer explanation to the people. Once in a while, people, those in authority, find it convenient to address the nation and tell the people what's going on from time to time. It's very important. That's an aspect of responsiveness. Then you have what you call consensus orientation. Good governance entails the building of consensus on very divisive issues of the day. Consensus building is the key to building coalitions, without which any bill, several tendencies, people from different political extractions. Without consensus, you can hardly pass any bill, because people have varying interests and they want to protect and defend the position of their people. But on building consensus, you're able to solve that problem, therefore aiding good governance. So with consensus orientation, political gridlocks and conflicts are often averted. This gives room for smooth running of government, which enhances, again, good governance. Efficiency and effectiveness. Governance is about serving the needs of the people. Politics is service. Politics is not actually a career as such. It is service. And it's expected that those who find their way into political arena generally expected that they should know that they are going to serve. But politics is service. governance is about serving the needs of the people. This means that the government should be effective and efficient in service delivery. When obsolete acts are repealed and new ones enacted, which addresses the current needs of the citizens, the legislature is meeting its role in promoting good governance. Very often, the legislature repeals moribund acts or law, and then comes up with a new one, or improves on that old one. It is meant for good governance. It's a critical role, because if you use 19th century laws in solving 21st century problems, you have problems, because it wouldn't match. That's, as I said initially, the critical role of a legislature is to make laws. Except government is effective, people think it is of no use. If a government is not effective, it's no use. Efficiency, of course, refers to the cost of governance. If a government is able to cut down on its costs, a thing that will cost you so much, you find a decent way of doing it and reduce the costs because you have scarce resources. That adds to the element of good governance. So the idea of effectiveness is that the institutions of government are capable of identifying and solving problems that threaten economic, social, and political well-being of the people. Efficiency relates to the cost of governance, as I said, and effective government is the one that solves problems and accomplishes objectives with least expenditure. Thank you. Accountability. Thank you very much. Accountability. Accountability strengthens consensus building, and engenders trust in government. If you think those that have the power, that are accountable, then of course it engenders not only trust, but people would believe that such government is practicing a good governance. When decision makers make themselves accountable to the people, they are better placed to unify the country on a single agenda for change and good governance. The legislature and the executives are co-managers of the Nigerian economy in the area of budgeting. I already mentioned this. What the president sends to the National Assembly is the budget estimates. The legislators now sit on that and work out what they consider to be very, very appropriate and the needs of their constituents. The executive presents the budget estimate to joint National Assembly. The legislature has the power of the purse. According to the Americans, they say power of the purse. That power of the purse implies appropriation. If both branches of government develop interdependence, as we are witnessing now in what is going on between the legislative branch and the executive in Nigeria currently, they are practicing what you call interdependence, which is based on mutual respect. It seems to me that the legislature and the executive branch this time around have agreed to cooperate. It doesn't mean legislators are rubber stamps, but they have realized that if the government does not do well, it affects everybody. It's the legislature, the executive, and judiciary of the same government. So if the government succeeds, they will all share the credit. So I think that seems to have been realized by the current National Assembly, and there seems to be harmony going on. And we expect that will translate into good governance, and the budget will pass promptly, and it will be implemented. It's not just passing the budgets, but implementation. So we notice that with interdependence, where legislature and the executive branch co-manage the economy through the budgeting process. Sections 80 to 88 of our Constitution. I think it has to do, it gives the power to oversee the activities of ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs. This is a powerful tool for controlling or averting most forms of catastrophes. This is one area the legislature should invest resources and time to build the technical capacity and competence to effectively monitor a growing bureaucracy. You should remember that in 2005, I was still in Senate then, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNICA, argued that African legislatures are very weak in technical capacity to effectively legislate for good governance. Leadership of National Assembly should do whatever is necessary to strengthen the legislature in terms of retraining, or if you like, retooling, and upgrading support services. The Nigerian Institute for Legislative Studies, now called the Nigerian Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, is a new addition, and it makes it better. When we moved that, when we sponsored the bill for Nigerian Institute for Legislative Studies, we did not add and democratic. I think now it's even better. Because nothing is so good that you cannot improve upon it. The present people have now improved on it, and it is excellent. Because it's democracy itself that we talk about democratic governance. Without that, of course, we will not even be talking about legislative studies. The difference between an authoritarian government and a democracy is legislature. Because under the military rule, you still have the executive, and that is the head of state, the military. And judiciary is constant. It's like northern stars. It doesn't move. It stays where it is. The only casualty when I say a Porsche is the legislature. Even though it occupies #1 position in order of primacy, but in terms of holding the reins of power, those that try to take over first and foremost will suspend the Constitution and close the National Assembly. That should tell you something. That legislature is a bridge between autocracy and democracy. If there's no legislature, you cannot claim the democratic. Because the legislators are the, if you like, the delegates or the trustees of the people, of the electorate. Legislators are the trustees. So, by way of concluding, I believe that National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies, under the present administration, I'm sure it will help the National Assembly to develop the virtues and competencies needed to take our government to the highest level. Those of you who have now acquired the postgraduate education in legislative practices, what is expected of you? You are the new ambassadors of Nilds. The way you carry yourselves and contribute to the legislative practice in Nigeria or in any country for that matter, where you find yourselves, that will add value to Nilds. And I believe very strongly that the Institute will serve as a hub if we continue developing it. Most other African countries will come and borrow a leaf from this institute. Because legislators, many of us who came to National Assembly never had any opportunity that you are enjoying now. We didn't know anything about legislation before we got in there. It was learning on the job. Now, you people are well equipped. So from day one, Bill Clinton said hit the ground running. From day one now, you can hit the ground running. We didn't have that opportunity. So that's why I said to whom much is given,
Much more.
we would like to see more developments, more excellent governance in our country. And people can make reference and say, it's because these people received some training, not just theory, practice. Practice without theory, I don't think it makes sense. And theory without practice is useless. So you have to combine the two and ensure that we're growing. I want to thank again the Director General for finding time to gather a galaxy of personalities here who are real professors. When he came to me and said I will give a lecture, I said I'm not a lecturer. I don't know. I've just talked from practical standpoint, what I know and what I see. That if our democracy must move, as it is already moving, I think an institute of this nature is required and it should be encouraged. And luckily enough, the chairman of the National Assembly and his vice, ably represented, are here. If they can carry the ball as they are doing further, our country stands to benefit from it. And those that are faculty members, such places are not where we talk about where you come from. It is what you know you can impact on the students. We go for the best. Lim Kuan Yew in Singapore, there are 3 principles that help to push their country to where it is now. Number 1, it's called MPH. M stands for meritocracy. P stands for something practicability, something practical. Does it work? If it works, even if it is socialism, capitalism, if it works, apply it. Then H, honesty. MPH, if guided, then they go for the best. First 11. If we send our first 11 at all times, chances are that we will win. But if we say, you are from Enugu, no, you are not qualified. You are from Zengel, you are qualified. Or you are from this, it doesn't help us. We should go for the best. Faculty of this place. The faculty of this place. I told the professor when he came to my office, I told him, I'm glad you are here. I mean that we have an opportunity to make a difference. This institute, some of us dreamed of it. Shingina and some of the people here participated. There are many senators that sponsored that bill, even though I raised it, but they supported it and we did it. If we can develop it very well, coupled with the good example that Professor Chega led at our independent, electoral management body called INEC. If we can do better, we have every reason to succeed as a nation. There are people who suffer tsunamis, who suffer all kinds of natural disasters. Our own natural disaster is human beings. I was in Mississippi, United States, not too long ago. Mississippi is regarded as the poorest state in the United States. But if you see the roads there, almost the best in third world country even close. The speed limit is 70 miles per hour. That tells you the size of the roads you can move. No checkpoints, you just keep going, keep moving. No potholes. So, now, if you have driven on Abuja to Lokoja, you know what I'm talking about. And there are many more. So, legislative studies can help us because good laws, if well implemented, will assist in good governance. And thank you for your attention.
Just before prompting you to stand up and give a special to the already done that, let's give the count of the clap coming until he gets to his seat. Thank you very much indeed.
In recognition of this fact, have improved on their attendance, and I wish to state that we intend to partner more with the Institute in years ahead in order to achieve more benefits. I want to therefore congratulate the DG Nilds, who not too long ago joined the Institute. And of course, as a professor that he is, I'm happy to recognize the fact that he's already finding his feet very well. Please take support of the management for granted as we continue to look forward for better days ahead in our continuous interactions. Thank you, and God bless you all.
The Chairman of the National Assembly and the President of the Senate, and also Chairman of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. I stand on established protocols. I bring greetings from Bayero University, and I congratulate the DG of Nilds, as well as the University of Berlin, for this third convocation ceremony for the graduation of postgraduate students of the Nilds programs. May I also use the opportunity to congratulate some of the students, no, all the students. Yeah. All the students, but especially those that I have taught. I think the guest speaker has said so many important things that you need to bear in mind. You've graduated. So much is expected of you. You have to add value to the democratic and legislative development of our country. And you have to do it with integrity and honesty. So once again, I congratulate you, and I congratulate the DG Nilds, and I congratulate all the parents and the guardians and the families of the graduates. Thank you very much. That's Mr. Integrity for you. Can make that
Yes, sir. Next to give the goodwill message is the former Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja, former Vice Chancellor, Sokoto State University. Goodwill message from Sokoto State University of Abuja.
May I also request that you are allowed to stand on the existing protocol. It's a pleasure for me to be invited to the podium to say one or two words about this ceremony today. I think the guest lecturer has said so much about the essence of the institute, the reason for its establishment, and what so far it has achieved. As newly appointed chairman of the Academic Advisory Committee of the Institute, and also based on my long existing relationship with the Institute, I want to say that the dreams of the founders of the Institute have been justified. And I thank particularly the chief executives, the former DG and the current DG, for a job well done. I would want to particularly recall that a few months ago, I was asked to deliver a lecture to participants of the program of the Institute who actually came from Uganda. And this is to actually indicate to the audience that the Institute has come to stay and is going places. On this particular occasion, let me also congratulate the students who are graduating today. It is often said that acquiring a degree or scholarship is just the beginning of what is the essence of that knowledge. So we expect that the graduates will actually go into the field and make it possible for the knowledge to be relevant. And it goes on to, I appreciate the point that the guest lecturer also made in his concluding remarks when he quoted Leo Kuan, the former Prime Minister of Singapore, who said knowledge must be, the process of developing a society must be based on meritocracy, practicability, and honesty. These are also the words I think they should go away with. Congratulations.
I see Ben.
We are not done with goodwill. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. The last of the goodwill message.
Because of this great gathering, I stand here to present my Vice Chancellor, Professor Rashid Nala, who is unavoidably absent. And he asked me to come in here and tell you that University of Abuja is 101% with University of Benin in the course of running this program in collaboration with Nilds. Now, without taking so much time, I'd like to congratulate the graduates. But then, we also have to congratulate our colleagues from the University of Benin for doing a wonderful job to get these graduates to this level. Now, when you graduate, you have a lot of challenges. The speaker has already said so much. Now, you go about parading yourself. I have masters. Then they will now form a committee and say, okay, you the masters person, you are going to be in charge of the code writing. Then you disappear. Your boss will be looking for you. You become sick, you take sick leave, you still come back and write that report. Our colleagues in Benin, I'm sure you must have suffered a lot to bring these graduates to this level. Because, especially when I'm dealing with adult students, we used to have a problem of dead mothers and fathers. Bring your assignment, bring your term paper, they will not bring it. What happened? I lost my mother. Another time, I lost my mother. So we are hoping that now that you have graduated, all those dead mothers will now come back. Amen. We have so many situations where a student will tell you a lie. I couldn't submit because I lost my uncle. I couldn't submit because I lost my brother. So we used to have this lecturer who said, okay, when I give you my assignment, you will tell the student, okay, if you know your brother is going to die,
Submit early.
your mother is going to die,
Submit early.
beg them not to die until you bring my assignment. So we have our own ways of bringing the intellectuals. And we always pray that when they get to the society, they'll actually perform to our expectation. We congratulate the director of Nilds. He's one of our own actually. So University of Abuja has every reason to have a serious solidarity with this issue because Professor Abubakar is actually one of our staff and we are proud of him and proud of what he's doing in this great issue. Thank you very much.
Distinguished Chairman.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
now invite the Registrar, University of Benin, to present the Dean.
Chancellor, sir, I now have the honor to call upon the Dean, School of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Felix Okeme, to present the students of the School of Postgraduate Studies who attained academic and other distinctions during the 2017-2018 academic session.
Protocol and to plead that the lecture by the distinguished Senate President to be made copiously available. We on this side have not received the copies. I think it's something that we want to take back to Benin. List of winners for the 2017-18 academic session, Uniben Nilds Convocation ceremony. If you hear your name, you will stand up, take the bow, and have the walk towards the days. Shake hands with the Vice Chancellor who is representing the first person on my list is the prize is the President of Senate Endowed Prize for the best graduate student master's degree in legislative studies. The recipient is Olugbemi Ezekiel Adeleye. The fourth prize is Mrs. Queen Toyin Ojora Saraki Endowed Prize to the best.
Thank him for the endowment he has given us. I stand here to represent the Speaker and my partner, my brother, Honorable Femi Wajamila, and he has asked me to speak like this. First, to congratulate the management of this institution for the great job they have been doing in spite of the limited resources at our disposal. We so much appreciate, and that we shall continue to support you to ensure you go from strength to strength. No nation can stand above the quality of its own education. And I believe an institution will require this training. This is the only thing that can make our work easier and move the country forward. Thank you very much. Hopefully, and it's prayer that the next convocation will be at the permanent site. He has also asked me to appreciate the graduates today and to congratulate you and to wish you well and pray that the sweat of our own labor will be to fruition. Thank you very much for this opportunity. May God bless you guys.
President of the Senate,
Armed Forces of the Federation, represented my brother, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Bajaba Mila, represented here by our brother and colleague, Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, the Deputy Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, who is also represented here, the former President of the Senate, Senator Ken Inaman. And maybe before I go on with protocol list, I would like to say something here. In 2006, I was then a member of the House of Representatives, not a senator. We had to debate the third term, or the constitutional amendment then, that turned into largely a third term issue. And the third term was killed. Thank God it was given a very decisive blow by the National Assembly at that time. And this goes to show the value of the legislature. Nobody could have saved Nigeria from that catastrophe except the National Assembly. So we know the legislature is the one and only arm of government that can represent the people adequately, take the right and timely decisions to legislate on matters that will enhance good governance. So I congratulate the former President of the Senate and of course the principal officers of the National Assembly present, especially the House Leader. The other one is a graduate, he has left. Honor members of the House and former members of the National Assembly. The Honor Minister of Education, I was told, is represented. And let me also mention specifically my former leader in the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Mohamed Wakil. Mohamed Wakil was our majority leader in 1999. I'm happy that he's transferring his knowledge, both practical and in theory, to our people here in the National Assembly and beyond. The Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, the Emir of Kano and Chancellor, University of Benin, His Royal Highness Muhammad Sunusi II, CON, the Clerk of the National Assembly, Alhaji Muhammadu Ataba Sani Omolori, the Vice Chancellor, University of Benin, top management staff of National Assembly, distinguished graduates, distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by congratulating our graduates today. I'm so delighted that you have been able to make it to this last part of what you started some years ago. And let me congratulate one of my friends, who today is a graduate. We were in the House of Reps together, we came to the Senate together, very distinguished Senator Hussein Mudachuru. I think you are showing the way. Very soon we'll join. It is worthwhile that we get better by going to institutions like this. I want to take this opportunity, like every other previous speaker did, to welcome all of us to this very important occasion of the convocation of the Nilds and University of Benin students who have been very, very lucky to receive the kind of training that molded them in both character and content. For our graduates, and the bulk of which I'm aware are staff or personnel of the National Assembly, you are welcome. You are now better than what you were before. We expect that you will bring value to what we do in the National Assembly, our legislation. In the last National Assembly, the 8th National Assembly, we had issues with our bills particularly. Many of our bills could not be signed, probably because we had some loopholes, some inadequacies in the way and manner they were processed. I believe that we continue training and retraining our staff and our personnel will improve in competencies, and therefore our output, our productivity will also improve. So I congratulate you, and we are looking forward to more contributions from you. On our side, as leadership of the National Assembly, I want to assure you that we will do everything and anything possible to make you better by the day. We work on your training, we work on your training, because you are who will be. Even though I've been here since 1999 as a member of the National Assembly, I have a science and technology background. I have no law background or legislative background until I came here. And therefore, we still rely on the staff here to take us through when we have to write motions, when we have to write bills, when we have to process the motions and the bills. So we'll continue to rely on you, and therefore we also have to contribute in making you better every time. And we'll do so within the limited resources we have. The guest speaker, of course, was a presiding officer, and he mentioned that we need to do a lot more to improve on performance of the National Assembly, on our ability to make legislations, on our ability to oversight properly on the executive. That requires additional funding, I guess. When I'm talking of funding, this legislature, and like everywhere else, is the most misunderstood arm of government. Those who elect us here majority don't understand what we are supposed to do. And it is our duty, not theirs, to make them understand. We have to do it in whatever way we can. We introduced the Openness Week, which we started last year, I think in June or July. We'll continue with that going forward. Because we have to open up the National Assembly for members of public, those who elect us to come here every 4 years. They need to know what we are doing, what we are supposed to do. So that when we ask for resources to make us work and work better, be more productive, efficient, and proficient, they will understand. But it is not going to be easy. We have to be patient, and we have to continue with it. We have to be steadfast. So we'll continue to talk that this is what we do, and we'll practicalize it. We need you, those who are trained, to help us do the right things, produce the right kind of legislations, and when we do oversight, and this time particularly in the Senate, this 9th Senate, our oversight process and system will change. We want to have oversight where reports of oversight will be presented in plenary. We want to do our work as assiduously and as patriotically as possible. However, that is not to say that we will have unnecessary confrontation or rancor with the executive arm of government. Actually, talking about the relationship so far has been excellent, has been wonderful. We have seen it during this budget that the president himself, after presenting the budget in a better time, record time really, he directed his ministers and head of agencies not to travel out of this country without defending their budgets. That is something that was unprecedented.
On our part, members of the House of Representatives, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have committed themselves more than ever before to stay around, work to ensure that budget defense is completed. Our target of tomorrow, the 29th of October, as the last day for budget defense remains. We are on course. And we hope that from next week, the 30th of, from this week, the 30th day of October to the 5th of November, we expect all our committees, subcommittees of the Appropriations Committee, to defend their budgets before the Appropriations Committees of the Senate and the House. We are desirous and we are determined to ensure that we pass this budget, or the budget is laid on the 28th day of November this year in both chambers. We want to ensure that we pass the budget before the end of this year, before the end of December, when we go for Christmas break and New Year. So we are determined to go on this path because this is the path to follow. What have we gained from distorted, undefined, very irregular budget cycle? Nothing. We have seen it. Nigeria's economy depends largely on public expenditure. Until the government spends money, pay contractors and vendors, nothing moves. So that means that we have to have a budget cycle that starts early enough. January is a good time because it provides stability. It is a chance for our business people, both within and outside, to plan on what they can do here. And in fact, the economy will be better and Nigeria will be better if we are able to start implementing our budget from January and finish in December. But going forward, we also intend to ensure that the budget we pass is implemented. Of course, we know our constraints. That will be subject to the availability of revenues. Today, Nigeria is challenged by availability of revenues. We can pass the budget in record time. When it comes to implementation, we have to become subject of how much we are able to gather. And Nigeria gathers a lot of revenue, but majority of the revenue generating or collecting agencies don't remit much of these revenues. And they are forced Nigerian government to take recourse in borrowing. I think the time has come for National Assembly to continuously engage with revenue generating agencies to know what their challenges are. Once they have targets, we must ensure they meet the targets. Where they are not able to meet the targets, we should find out why. Is it institutional problem or systemic issues? Is it something we can do in the National Assembly to make them better? Or is it something that the executive would have to do for us to get these revenues? We have so many areas that we have generated revenues, or we generate revenues every day, and yet, we hardly see these revenues. I think it's a big challenge to the National Assembly, and this National Assembly should go out, go all the way, take the bull by the horn and ensure that we look for our revenues wherever they are. We don't have to continue to go. Someone will tell you, you know, when you are a little bit poor and you start thinking of who is owing me. Now we have problem. If we had surplus before and we could ignore so many things, today it is lean, there's paucity of funds, and therefore every single kobo counts. And we'll look for that wherever it is. This National Assembly, Nigeria has adopted consciously to have a bicameral National Assembly. Why? Because of who we are or what we are. The diversity of Nigeria, the ethnic composition of this country, requires that we have a system that provides justice, equity, and fair play. Bielsa, with the 5 members of the House of Representatives, cannot compete with the Kano that has 24 in the House. Know what? When you come to the Senate, Kano has only 3 senators as much as Bielsa has 3. That is a leveler. So it is a conscious decision
a conscious design to ensure that everybody is represented fully. We need bicameral legislature in Nigeria. What we should insist on is productivity. Members of the National Assembly must justify the expenditure on us. That is what we should be concerned with. We must be productive, and we are on the way. We are on the way to proving that we are going to be productive. Only last week, the Senate passed an amendment to the Production Sharing Contract Act of 1993. Before the passage of that act, something that should have been done in 2002 or 2003, up to date, Nigeria gets only $216 million from the PSC. We have passed, the Senate, the House will soon probably concur tomorrow by the grace of God, and the President will sign next week. Nigeria from next year, because of that amendment alone, will get at least $1.7 billion from $260 million. That is to say that we are conscious of who we are representing. We will represent Nigerians truthfully and patriotically.
Thank you, sir.
Today, we enjoy very serious understanding amongst ourselves. We have various political platforms in both chambers, but we work as a family. We work as a family because our target is the same, Nigerians. Whether you are APC or PDP or YPP, because we have a YPP in Senate, we represent Nigerians who all are in the same situation. They go to the same market, and therefore they require the same solutions to their challenges. And that's why we're working together seamlessly in a very cordial manner. The atmosphere is fantastic as far as we are concerned, and we pray and we work hard to ensure that we remain fair and just to everybody in the chamber. It doesn't matter if you are in opposition. All we need you to do is to help make Nigeria better. How do we ensure that we have better security for our people? How do we ensure that the economy works for each and everybody, an all-inclusive economy, that those at the lowest level of the ladder are able to benefit from that kind of economy? How can we ensure that these 100 million Nigerians that this administration wants to take out of poverty in the next 10 years really get this project done? 10 million Nigerians next year. All hands must be on deck to ensure that we take out 10 million Nigerians out of poverty next year. This requires that everybody works with the same passion and commitment. We have, some will say 11 million children out of school, some will say 14. But the fact remains that we have a big number, probably the largest in the world, children out of school. That is not acceptable. For security reasons, you don't need these kids to be out there in the streets, because they provide an easy market or mass, what do you call them? They are there for recruitment, for anything. You can call it terrorism, Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping. But for more positive reasons, that you need to make them productive because they are supposed to lead the Nigeria of tomorrow, we have to get them off the streets. That requires the federal government to be fully in charge, leading. The state governments will have to buy in, because the federal government doesn't have anybody. Everybody is in the states. So there must be some kind of conscious partnership. And no matter how much it will take, we have to implement the Universal Basic Education Act fully. We have to do that. That requires that we work together as a National Assembly, but that we also work together in harmony with the third arm of government. We are not mortgaging the independence of the legislature. Actually, I normally don't see the relationship in terms of independence. It is interdependence. It's supposed to be based on mutual respect. And we have seen it already. When we said we want the budget presented by the end of September, in fact, the president was expected to present the budget on the 30th of September.
but something happened. And he had to present it on the 8th of October. It was still a fantastic job that was done because everybody on the side of the executive was fully involved in ensuring that the budget was presented to us. And after the presentation, of course, we insisted that after the 29th of October, if any minister does not defend his or her budget, we will close. That's the only window available. And the president issued a statement. Nobody should travel. In fact, the statement added, even if a minister had a prior approval, you now would have to go back to seek the validation. Nobody should travel. That is executive legislative partnership that is working. And we'll continue with that. Some people may understand it. Some will even say we are rubber stamp. I've not seen where we are rubber stamp because we are working on the budget. If there is anything that we don't agree, we say, no, you can't get this to pass. We have to do the right thing. And we have to do the right thing because until we are able to get the budget properly passed, processed and passed, when it comes to implementation, it could be lopsided and that will be iniquitous. People in some parts may not get the right kind of projects. So we want to ensure that we do the right thing, but in our relationship with the executive arm of government, we are not going to fight. We will disagree. Definitely we will disagree with them. By design, the legislature and the executive have some roles that are complementary, but there will be perspectives that will differ. But when we disagree, we don't have to go to market to fight. We don't have to go to market to fight. We should be able to sit down and talk and resolve those disagreements on the basis of what the national interest is. So we will continue to have a relationship that is based on cooperation, on synergy and partnership, that we consult 2 days ago or last week. The Attorney General of the Federation was here. He met us with Honorable Speaker and members of the National Assembly that were present at that time. Why did he come? He said he wanted a situation where before a bill is officially sent to the National Assembly from the executive arm of government, that we are able to have an engagement with them, that our relevant committees are able to have a presentation, that kind of, before they send it, that we engage and see where we disagree so that we're able to sort these things out. These are efforts to fast track the passage of bills. We're not going to compromise on whatever we think is not right, but we are going to give wholehearted support for whatever it is that will make life better for Nigerians. Finally, I'm not supposed to give a lecture here, but it's looking like it's turning into that. Well, I listened to the DG Nilds. He said they don't go on strike. I think strike is bad. Strike is bad, but of course, there has to be equity in whatever we do. And as an administration or as a government, at whatever time, we must go into agreements that we know we can keep. We have to tell ourselves the truth. As leaders, we should always be frank. If we know we are not going to implement something or we can't, then we shouldn't sign. Everybody involved in this, whether it's NLC or ASU, they are all Nigerians. So whatever time we have, I think instead of going on strike, we should be able to always resolve our issues amicably. Strikes delay our institutions from teaching our students and whatever we have in those universities and institutions of learning. If it is NLC or the trade unions, where we have problems when we fight like this. So we should ensure that strikes are done completely. I'm going to meet ASU after this session. By the way, I was an ASU member, but some years back, but I still remain a committed Democrat, whether it is ASU or whoever. I will side what is right and what is true. And of course, the former national chairman of ASU, Professor Dega, is here. I think you are now in between. You will be helping us to get solutions to our problems. let me congratulate you once again. I was not able to do that. I always refer to INEC as a graveyard of integrity. Thank God you are able to come out completely with your integrity without losing anything. Congratulations for that. But truly we need a situation where we are able to minimize these interruptions in our educational system. Because that interruption from time to time forces people to look elsewhere. And we lose billions of dollars from our students or their parents paying our money elsewhere outside this country. Our educational system is fantastic, even though we still have some work to do. But we need stability. So we need to work hard. Professor Yakubu is also here. Please, you help us. We talk to everyone. I think the current issue between federal government and ASU is on IPPIs. We'll have to find a solution to that. I'm sure we'll do that very patriotically. We should be able to go. Finally, let me once again congratulate, especially the management, the DG himself and his team, who have been able to, in the first place, produce the graduates for us to be here. I wish you graduates particularly the best of outing from today, but we are going to expect a lot more from you. You too, when you do your own part, expect a lot more from us. Because to whom much is given, they say, much is expected.
Yes.
You should expect us to be on your side. Thank you. God bless all of us.
Quintessential, erudite, indefatigable, and eloquent President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan. After the Chancellor, the Deputy President of the Senate, members of Nilds Governing Council, members of Benin, Vice Chancellor, University of Benin, Director, University of Benin, Registrar, University of Benin, University of Benin Librarian,